Lou Dobbs, graduate of Harvard University. He worked in government and banking, and we all know him from his many years on Moneyline and the Lou Dobbs Tonight Show. He's won Emmy, Peabody, and Cable Ace Awards, and he's with us today. Lou Dobbs, thank you for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me, Fred. Great to hear your voice.
Thank you, sir. I would have thought you were on some Caribbean island for a year or so now, huh?
Well, I'm going to be down in our place in Florida for a few weeks, a month or so, and kind of figuring out what's next.
Well, you know, that's a good thing to figure out. I've been there a few times myself. Lou, why'd you leave CNN?
Well, CNN kind of left me, Fred, to be real straightforward about it, in the sense that I've been doing opinion on my broadcasts for years and years, and John Klein, the president of CNN, decided to take opinion off the air. And in doing so, obviously I tried to accommodate him for a month or two, and it just didn't work for me. It wasn't working for him, and so it became pretty clear we'd be going our separate ways.
Well, that's the way civil people handle things.
And an amicable parting. CNN, I helped build the joint, and I wish all of the great folks there nothing but the best, and the network nothing but the best. But
well, you were there in the beginning, as they say. What, 1980?
1980, one of the last standing original anchor on the air.
So. But obviously you're a person who wants to make a difference, and you have strong opinions and so forth. And let me ask you this: as you look at America today and you see what's happening, what concerns you the most about what's going on in your country today?
Fred, with two wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, an economy that is weak but in recovery, jobs that are continuing to be destroyed rather than created, all of these issues, health care, cap and trade, the issue underlying each and every one of those policy decisions, to me, is a lack of representation in Washington, D.C. The American middle class isn't being represented. Working men and women aren't being represented. Small business isn't being represented. Big business, yes. Group and identity politics hold sway across Washington. That is the number one issue. And there was a time when we heard people, our elected officials, as you know, talk about the rule of the majority.
Yep.
But this great democratic republic, the first tenet of its sustenance is the majority rules. And we don't seem to have anyone who acknowledges that right now in Washington, D.C., nor do we have the people being regarded as first citizens rather than subjects. And
of course, that's being borne out in the polls we're seeing now about what people think about this health care bill.
Absolutely.
And yet they're marching forward with it. And another way of putting what you're saying, you're seeing less and less confidence people have in their own government. And it's showing in many different ways. What is your read? I know you're concerned about the illegal immigration situation in this country. What is your read on the status of that issue right now as it's playing out in Washington?
Right now, the great quandary for the administration is how to complete its promised payoff and provide unconditional amnesty. And obviously there is not the support for it in either the Senate, perhaps there is in the House, but certainly not in the Senate. I don't doubt one bit that there will be just a tremendous, vigorous effort to bring comprehensive immigration reform forward in the first part of the new year. But I think that if they continue to game the system instead of deal honestly with the issues, it'll fail again as it did in 2006, 2007. And the great shame is, Fred, as you and I both know, all they have to do is be straightforward about securing that border, straightforward about securing the ports. And I'm not a restrictionist. I want a rational, effective, humane immigration policy just as badly as anyone else in this country. But we can't control immigration if we don't control our borders. And if we don't control immigration, there's no way in the world to meaningfully reform immigration law.
Well, as you say, it gets back to being straightforward. When you've got an administration who's saying that they're actually going to save money by taking over our health care system, it makes it kind of difficult. Lou, the one way to have a voice, you've already had a big one, but another way to have a voice is in public service. Have you given any thought to perhaps running for president?
I'm talking, yes, is the answer, and I'm going to be talking some more with some folks who want me to listen to them in the next few weeks. I just don't even know what to tell you in terms of what I'm leaning, because right now I'm fortunate to have a number of just wonderful options. I do know this, that I'm going to have the best advice. I may make a terrible decision, but I'm going to have great advice.
Yeah.
And one thing that makes me feel pretty confident about it all is my wife's going to be making a good part of that decision.
Well, listen, we're going to be waiting and with great interest. We expect you to call back and tell us on this show first.
You know what, Fred? I'll call you back.
Thank you, Lou. Really appreciate you being with us.